Hello Uplanders, I'm sure you know, but buying virtual land in the Upland Metaverse can be a lot of fun and profitable. These Upland properties are mapped to the real world, and this adds another level of excitement when purchasing or minting these properties. In this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 favorite properties that I've purchased or minted in the Metaverse. Now, just for reference, I've been playing Upland since April of 2021, and up until now, I have amassed 430 properties in the Metaverse. Upland is a lot more than a property trading game, and there are many different ways that you can play and strategize around Upland. There's a link in the upper right hand corner and in the description below to learn about different types of strategies that you can adopt. In fact, for me, these 430 properties that I own are too many for what I'm looking to do in the Metaverse. So if you're willing to help me downsize my portfolio, take a look at the link in the upper right hand corner to see what I have on sale. Now, coming in as my fifth favorite property in Upland is 1451 Coleman Avenue, located in Santa Clara. Now, not only is this property a McDonald's in the real world, but it is also extremely close to the train station. But I think my favorite part about this property is the fact that I got a great deal on this. I purchased this in US dollars for $65, and it's actually a 95,000 UPX mint price property. Now, I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's as a consumer, but what makes this a great property for me is I think the deal that I got on this. The fact that I got it at almost 70% of the mint price, its proximity to the train station, and the fact that it's tagged as a McDonald's makes this really exciting for me, and the great value that I got on this helps it to crack the top 5 favorite properties of mine. Now, as you can see, I'm starting to build a showroom here, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be selling, but you can be sure that there will be some sort of showroom MetaVenture listed here. In fact, if you want to learn more about my MetaVenture shops all across Upland, take a look at the link in the upper right hand corner or in the description below. It's also super important to note that any of these properties that you see that are tagged, like this McDonald's, have absolutely no additional utility within Upland. These tags are not placed by Upland, and it's entirely possible that this tag might be removed in the future. So I would not suggest purchasing properties based on tags that you see on the map. For my fourth favorite property in Upland, we're moving to the East Coast to Rutherford, New Jersey, 67 Eastern Way. What makes this property so special for me is not the actual property itself, but who the neighbor is. Located at 65 Eastern Way is Saquon Barkley, and he is the star running back for the New York Giants. Upland has a partnership with the NFL Players Association, and there are some players who have purchased properties within the Upland Metaverse, Saquon being one of them. Now, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that when these players entered the Metaverse, that Saquon had actually purchased a property next to me. So I'm very honored that he chose to have me as his neighbor in the Metaverse. I even had a chance to meet him at the very first Upland Genesis Week and got this great picture with him. Now, another thing I want to point out about this property is that the player who built this structure on it, which was the previous owner before Saquon, actually built the home on backwards. You can see that the address is actually on Eastern Way, and he has the entrance to this house facing the opposite direction. So for anyone who's looking to build any sort of structure, I've got some building guidelines in the link in the upper right hand corner. And just like in the real world, you probably don't want to have your front entrance facing away from the front of the road. My third favorite property that I own in Upland takes us over to Nashville at 411 Broadway Avenue. This was my first ultra rare property that I minted in Upland, and it is part of the live music venue collection. Not only is it an ultra rare property, but it is also part of the exclusive Downtown collection and the rare Broadway collection. Now, I've never been to Nashville, but from what I hear, Broadway Street is really one of the most exciting places in Nashville with a lot of great bars, and that's probably why they chose the live music venues as one of the ultra rare collections. As an honorable mention, I also managed to mint this Rippy's Bar and Grill property, which is just a few doors down, and this was not tagged as an ultra rare property. So I'm very disappointed that Upland left this out of the collection. I also like the fact that these properties are located in very close proximity to the train station, and even Rippy's Bar and Grill is right next door to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame and the Bridgestone Arena, which is home of the Nashville Predators of the National Hockey League. My second favorite property that I own in Upland is 1044 West Waveland Avenue, located in Wrigleyville, Chicago. For anyone who's familiar with baseball and specifically Wrigley Field, you know that this is one of the most iconic stadiums that you can watch a baseball game in. In fact, what makes the stadium so unique is that there are places that you can actually watch the game from across the street. 1044 West Waveland Avenue is actually one of these places. In the left field, you can see here through the street view, you can actually see that these seats are on top of the roofs of these properties overlooking Wrigley Field. For any baseball fan, this is one of the most unique places that you can watch a baseball game, and a must-do on a baseball fan's bucket list. Now, it would be great one day in the future, maybe, for me to be able to travel to this property in the real world and watch a Chicago Cubs game from this property. During the minting of Chicago, this was the very first property that I actually wanted to mint. It wasn't easy getting there, and right after I minted it, there were 2 or 3 people that minted the properties right next to me. So people were absolutely on my tail, and that's one of the exciting things about new city releases. You have an opportunity to get pretty much any property that you would dream of inside these cities. There was a lot of competition for this property back then, and now with even more players in the metaverse, competition for these most coveted properties and cities is even stronger. If you haven't participated in a lot of new city releases, you have to know that there is an element of luck, but there is also a lot of strategy involved. And there are ways to set yourself up to better position yourself in order to get what you're looking for. If you want to learn more about new city releases and how you should be preparing yourself, there's a link in the upper right hand corner and of course in the description below. Now, before I share with you my favorite property in Upland that I've purchased, if you haven't already done so, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite property is that you own and why. Now, my favorite property is in Detroit, more commonly known as Motor City, and it's 461 Paquette Street. This property is in fact a landmark that I purchased, and it's also part of the historic Motor City Ultra Rare Collection. This property is the Ford Paquette plant, and it is the birthplace of the Ford Model T. You can see that the street view of this is in fact inside of this factory, which has now been turned into a museum. This is really exciting to be able to own this piece of history, and hopefully in the future I might be able to turn this into some sort of a museum within Upland itself.